And this is what we got. So for bottom-up cracking, on the left, you are seeing the left. So you can see PG58 minus 34 performed really significantly worse than all the others. It performed worse than the control. This was not expected, because PG58 minus 34 mixture is supposedly, the binder is supposedly more expensive and better than, it must be better than 58 minus 28. And remember, this is a true comparison, because 5828, the mix design on 5828 and 34 are identical. No difference in mix design, no different in sample preparation. It's calibrated to the field. The laboratory test has been run to calibrate the beta 1, beta 2, beta 3. So this is as accurate as you can get. So now, what do you think the reason is? I don't know, but it is performing worse. Then, what do you think? What could be?
Snake oil.
Snake oil. So, you know, it is, I mean, we don't know, obviously, but the thing is, what happens is some contractors do use recycled engine oil to soften the binders. So, and if you run the PG, it passes all the PG requirements. Just passes, okay? You know, based on what you, but if you do some lab testing like this, that's a detailed analysis, and actually run a payment ME to see the actual performance, that's when you say, oh, there's something wrong perhaps in this mix. It's not necessarily the better binder, okay? This is a way of identifying.
Wrap, doesn't that stiffen the binder? Or might have it backwards.
Yeah.
So we have to bump the binder to bring it back down to the specified binder. Is that right?
Amount, yeah.
So I'm just thinking, so that wouldn't be the impact. Wrap wouldn't be the impact.
They all have the same wrap content here.
Right. I'm just thinking broadly.
No, they all had the same wrap. This is actually a high wrap mix, this particular one. There was a 40% wrap here. So, so in this, the idea was here, what we were thinking, we were expecting, this was an unexpected result, because the idea of this one was when you bump the grade by this way, because you are using a high wrap, you would be you were expecting to see a better mix performance for the 5834, because you're grade bumping it. You should see a better performance with the wrap, because wrap is stiff, and you, by grade bumping it, you're bringing down kind of a thing. You're expecting the PG58 minus 28 to be performing worse than this. That did not happen. And what we were thinking of is, let's compare all these crumb-rubber modified mixes, and let's see if they would be performing as good as this grade bumped. That way, and these crumb-rubber modified mixtures are not grade bumped. They are based on 5828 binder. So, you know, can we use the crumb-rubber modified mixtures in lieu of grade bumping? That was the question. So we didn't see that result, but we still saw improvement with respect to controlled mixture. So wet process is here, terminal blend process is here, and devulcanized rubber is here. This is also somewhat unexpected. We were I personally was expecting wet process to perform better, but devulcanized did better in here.
I'm sorry, did you say this is resulting from running it through pavement ME, or actually going out and sampling?
No, pavement ME.
Okay.
It's all pavement ME.
Predicted through pavement.
Predicted through pavement ME, yes. So we don't have any section out there though for all of them. We get this data for the Bennett Road project we had, Bill.
Yeah.
So in the field we only have this versus this. So, you know, CRTB versus 5834, right? Bennett Road, 5834 control. Yeah, I think that's it.
I think so.
I think so. We are comparing this against essentially this.
Well, the 34 isn't that a softer binder than 28?
Yeah.
So the softer binder would perform, well, you think it would perform better at bottom up then, right?
Yeah.
So, but did you do the entire thickness of 34 then? Because you would want a stiff top course. It's a more flexible top course that might be wider.
We have both sections. right? We have both sections. I think we have full depth 5834 and also
For MDOT designs, we'll usually do a 34 on the top and leveling, and our base will be like a 28 or something.
well, this is total 4 inches anyway.
Right. So that's what I'm thinking here is that if the whole thing's flexible, then you're limiting yourself because the top course is not stiff. So the whole thing's flexible, and I wonder if that's contributing to the whole increase in bottom up fatigue, even though it's more flexible in that regard.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what are you finding surprising about that? I thought the terminal blend should.
We would expect 5834 would be performing better than the control. So this curve should be below this curve. That's what we were expecting. So that's not what we saw. 5834. This is not relative to rubber, but it's really 5834 is a better binder. It's a more expensive binder, supposedly.
Yeah, it's softer. I would
Yeah. So if you actually, you can see this better.
It crack more. Is what
yeah, that's what happens. If you look at this, you know, for the thick layer, we've seen the percent cracking, even though it didn't reach the, you know, the threshold. I mean, they all performed okay. It's just that this was too close to the threshold for the thick. So the control, we got 7% cracking for the thick pavement, and for 5834, we got 22% cracking. So all the crumb rubber mixes, they performed that better than the control. That, of course, we want that to happen, but we were thinking this would be somewhere here, or maybe even better. So in thin pavements, it's actually, you know, it's pretty close, really. For thin pavements, the difference was not too different, but still, it was a little bit worse. It wasn't better. So.
Which pavement's the best value? All those.
Best value in this particular case, you have to really look at the prices of individually. So we did not know the prices, but among all these three, I don't know the price. But well, I don't know. I don't know the prices of these.
The cost benefit wasn't
Not done. No.
You had a test model of two of these mixes?
We have a test section of the two of these sections comparing this 5834 versus the CRTB. We have a field section, but it's not thick though. It's thin. So this says they're going to perform pretty similar. Maybe CRTB should perform slightly better, and you will see.
The other graph showed that the 5834 was going to perform
Worse,
worse.
far worse. But that was for thick layer. But what we constructed in the field was a thin layer. Thin layer meaning 4-inch thick. This is for a 10-inch. If you were to be doing this a 10-inch, you would have a big difference. But what we construct is only a 4-inch thick. So, I mean, so far they are doing pretty similar. I mean, I drive that every day when I go home. So 5834 and CRTV are performing very similar.
The test that you ran, were they on actual production mixes, or were they?
No, these were lab mixes, job mix formulas that if this was before, while we were working on the project, and we also did these extra.
Can you tell the difference driving down Bennett Road, which one's got it?
I can't. I drive there all the day.
You know, there's that project has non-modified binder, and then it's got the control mix, and then it's got the
Polymer,
terminal blend, and that's got high stress in it too.
but that's only at the roundabouts.
Right.
Oh, at the roundabout, I think the polymer high stress mix is performing better than the rubber mix. We haven't evaluated the lab of that.
I don't even remember which side is which.
I remember it's the westbound is the chrome rubber at the roundabout. The eastbound is the high stress at the roundabout.
It's terminal blend.
Terminal blend is not performing as good at that roundabout. But in the main line, we don't have, I mean, we have the control. It's performing really well. Both of them, both 5834 and CRTB are performing, you know, it's pretty much the same, which is consistent with this data.
And the reason I say that is I know on the one we did in 15 on Lake Lansing, you can tell the difference by looking at it.
Yeah. Yeah, we have not, we did evaluate it. I mean, I haven't put it in these slides, but we did do the similar analysis.
And how did that rubber modified mix compare?
I don't remember. I need to go back and look at my data.
I'd be willing to bet that one performed a lot better.
Yeah, I think it was. That mix was pretty, it's cheaper, and that was a winner among all the projects, that rubber projects. I mean, it's not an advertisement because I don't have any, relationship with those guys, but that pre-swollen rubber that is like a dry, the construction was very good. It's relatively cheap. It's performing really well. You don't have all these issues with mixing with binder and, all the complaints coming from the contractors about, oh, we don't want to deal with the rubber and the sun. None of those were there.
Nobody got sued.
Nobody got sued. Anybody got sued in any other projects?
Yeah,
Maybe the wet process?
so that one, yeah.
Yeah. They did not deliver, right, the rubber on time?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so this is top-down cracking. This is showing the same results, top-down cracking, and actually exceeding the results in 5834. But this is valuable. I mean, when we saw this, this was another little check of Salih not cheating the results. Salih, all Salih, my student who did all this work, all he knew was, well, I expect this to perform well. Did not perform well at all. So on all these tests, we look at lab data comparison, we did simulations, wherever we go.